Hi guys, I got another project. I'm going to be replacing the front motor mount on my Dyna here. I was walking around the bike one day, getting ready to go take it for a ride, and I was looking at the exhaust, and the heat shield on the front exhaust was like a 16th of an inch away from the front tube of the frame. So I jacked up the bike, and I went underneath there to look, and my motor mount looked like it's brand new. Didn't look like anything was wrong with it. And riding the bike, I had no problems with having it have vibrations. It idled, no vibration, very little. No vibrations in the upper RPMs, no vibrations on the lower RPMs, and so I never thought that I was having a motor mount problem. So I have two motor mounts here. I got about a year ago, 2 years ago, a front and rear motor mount here, and I took the new one out and I put it alongside the one that's on the bike, and I have like a separation at the bottom of the motor mount. So it's kind of telling me that I think the motor mount is shot. So what I'm going to do here now, I'm going to show you what I mean about the exhaust being so close to the tube, and then we'll go on and replace the mount. So here we are. I'll come around the bike here, and I'm going to show you the exhaust. And you see right here. See how close it is? It's supposed to be a little bit more than that. So that's what gave me a warning that maybe I should check the motor mount. So then I went down and looked at the mount. I don't know if you can see it. Right here. Can you see that space right there? The new motor mount, this space has no space. So this is what's kind of telling me that I think the rubber on the sides here ripped out. So I think it's time to change it. Now, another thing, the bike only has 7,200 miles on it. It's an 04. I don't ride it that much because I'm really busy, and so 7,200 miles, that's not too many miles to have a motor mount go, I think. So here's the new mount, the front mount, and that's the part numbers if you guys want to write it down. That's the part number that you'll get when you go to Harley and buy one. And they're pretty packed pretty well. Now here's the new motor mount. And what I was showing you, on the bike, right here, it's almost right, it's all the way down to the bottom. Now I went ahead and measured the one on the bike, and it's like a 3/4 of an inch space here. So that's telling me that the rubber that's here on the side of these side plates here. It must have cracked here somewhere. So when we take it off, or I take it off, I'll check it out and see. Now, what I've been hearing from different people, that when the oil is being changed, the oil drips down on top of these things, and the oil kind of deteriorates this rubber. I have no idea if that's true or not, but the dealer changed my oil a couple times while I was still on warranty, but after that I did on my own oil changes, and I had the mount covered so no oil would get into it. What they did at the Harley shop, I had no idea, but I guess once the oil is on there and you don't wipe it off, it just sits there and just starts soaking in there and starts eating up the rubber. So what I'm going to do now is let you guys on some tips here. I said this a few times in my other videos. Make sure you have the manual. You cannot imagine how difficult to do some of these things if you don't have the manual. So get yourself a manual and you'll never go wrong. So now I'm going to take the motor mount, or at least I'm going to loosen the bolts, and then I'm going to remove the mount. Now in the manual it says to jack the engine up with a jack. So I have a J&S jack here, and the engine, I can let the jack and put some spacers between the jack and the engine itself, and when I jack up the bike, the engine will be raised up, so that way when I pull the mount off, the engine will be at its right height. So I'm going to be back in a second, because I'm going to drop the bike down, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how I'm going to jack the engine up in the frame. Alright, I got the bike down now, and got the jack underneath the bike, and I'll just show you the mount again. See the space? And here's the new mount. No space. I mean, very little space. So this is telling me, I think the rubber is busted inside. So okay, so now here's the oil pan. Okay, and they're saying that's how you jack up the engine. So what I'm going to do is, here's the jack. I'm going to put these spacers on here. So that way when I jack it up now, it will jack the front of the engine up when this comes up. When this comes up, it'll jack the front of the engine up here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jack it up, because when I jack it up I'm going to have to strap it down, and I'm not going to waste your time with the strapping down the bike. This is going to be real time, so how long it takes me to do this is how long it's going to be. Now, I've never did this before, so this is my first time doing it, So what you see is what I'm seeing for the first time. So okay, I got the bike jacked up now, and look at the difference in the spacing here. It was touching before, and now look how far it is. Also, look at how it went back down like the new one is. So now if the new one has that much give, we'll see. Okay. And you can see right here, see I put the spacers here, and the jack actually lifted it up, the engine up. So no need for me to try to level out the bike and have another jack involved. Also in the instructions it said to have the bike level. As you can see, the bike is level. So now I'm going to get the wrenches, and let's take this motor mount off. Alright, so let's see how this is going to work out here. Let's get it off. Like I said earlier, never did this before, so don't know the mechanics of this. Of this mount. I don't know if that rubber block in there travels up and down, or it's like just stationary there, and then when it gets old it just starts breaking up. We'll find out when we get it off. Also, I don't know when I pull this out or if it's engine's gonna drop, or I might actually have the engine up too high and just cause these bolts here to bind. So I'm gonna find out. Alright, I hear the engine raising up here. That's what I thought. Okay, you see this? I'm going to bring it over to the bench and we'll take a look at this. Be right back. Okay, we're here at the bench. I got both the old one and the new one side by side. Now here's the old one. You can see the separation here. And the new one, very little separation. I mean, it's not broken up or anything, but it's probably really messed up on the inside. Here's the new one, old one. Now on the top, looks like dried up oil here. And that's probably where the oil seeps into when it's dropped out of the filter. And it just lays in there and then starts eating it away. And you see this side, look at this side. It's all chewed up. If you look at the new one, it's all nice and smooth. So there's nothing loose here. Looks like it's still attached to the side plates here, but I think the inside is eaten up. It's all chewed up. So, alright, well, it was time to change it, especially with this separation here. That's what's caused the engine to drop down. So, let's go back and install the new one. Okay, we're back at the bike. I'm going to put the here. Okay, we're going to turn the bolts, they run this way, we're going to turn it this way because the torque wrench won't fit in here. Okay. It's a pretty simple job. What I'm worried about now is that I'm going to have my vibrations return, because I had vibrations when I first bought the bike new. Took it to the dealer, and you got the usual, that's the way it is story. But eventually the vibrations subsided, and like I said, I had no clue here because everything was fine, no vibrations at idle, no vibrations in the upper and lower RPMs. Okay, so here's the well, guess what I forgot, guys? I'm always preaching about this, and I forgot it myself. Blue Loctite. Sorry about that. Alright, kind of quiet here. Alright, do it again. Okay, takes care of that. Okay, we have a lot of space here, so there's going to be some major squeezing there of that bracket. Right, the bracket's getting drawn in here. Let's see if this will work here without the extension. Yeah, okay. So I just gotta tighten it up and then use the torque wrench. Reason why I'm doing it at an angle here so you guys can see it on the camera. Otherwise, I'd cover up the being in the way here. So. Okay. Time to torque it. Not a bad job. Let's see if I can get it in here. Nope. That wasn't too bad, was it? I'm adjusting the torque wrench right now. For the second torque spec here. First spec is 21 foot-pounds and the second is 27. It'd be a lot easier if I could use the extension on both of them, but no such luck. And that's that. So, it's installed. All I gotta do now is drop the bike and see if everything's fine. Alright, also I want to show you here. Look at the difference, see the space now? And the between the pipe and the frame, a lot of space there. So, yeah, that other mount was bad. Alright, we're finished here now. I'm going to drop the bike and see how everything is, and I'll come back. Alright, I started it up, took it for a ride, and nice, no vibration, just like it was before. And you can see the space between the pipes is about like that now. So everything came out, and I like it not having the vibration because there wasn't any with the old one. It's just that the engine was dropped. So anyway, so that's the end, and hope this helps you guys. If you ever want to change your front mount, just go on YouTube and come back to my channel and pick up on this how-to video. Now the rear one usually doesn't go out as fast as the front, so, and I will check into that one later, and if I find that that one's bad also, I'll make another video on replacing that one. Hi guys, after I did the video on replacing the front motor mount, I was thinking, why not make a video on this old motor mount? I'd like to see the reason why it failed. The bike only has 7,500 miles on it. Sure, the bike is 10 years old, but why would the mount fail that soon? Now, what I'd like to do is, and let you guys see it while I'm doing it, is see if I can take this mount apart. I've been looking at it, and I'll show you some things I found on it. And then let's see if I can spread it apart where I can see if oil dripped on it, if the rubber is actually acting as a sponge. And if it is, I think there should be some kind of waterproof and oil-proof cover over it, so that the oil that drips off the oil filter when it's being pulled off doesn't drip onto the mount and deteriorate it. So let's get going here. And I did a few things ahead of time. I punched out the rivets and that little brace that's underneath the mount, and I'll show you that, and also we'll get it over. I think I'm going to put it in a vise and just see if we can let the thing tear itself apart. Alright, so let's get to it. So here we have the old motor mount. And I wear these gloves because I am tired of oil and grease getting into the skin and under the nails. I never believed in this until I started working at a shop. Everybody there had to wear them because of the chemicals. See how it tore away? Same thing on this side. Here it's still solid. Underneath here too, you can see that it's separated from the sides, which I think that's the reason why it gave way. So I'm going to put it in a vise, and I'm going to squeeze the vise and see if I can tear this apart. And then I'm going to see if there's oil that this rubber here absorbed down into the into it, that would make it deteriorate. There was the chair. I'm filming this myself, so sorry for the non-professional looking videoing here. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this part first, put it in the vise, and then I'm going to close it and see if I can get it to split. Okay, let's see, can you see that? Alright. I don't want this thing smacking into my face. Alright, I'll take a screwdriver. I'm going to break this loose here, because everything else is torn away except for this here. see some oil here. See if I can get some paper towel. You can see, I don't know if you can see, I got some here on the glove. This black stuff here, the oil, like the towel, like dried it up, but that black is oil. My jaws here on his vise doesn't have the core. Slippery. I don't know, can you see that? Can you see that in there? But it doesn't look like it's cracked. Just a little bit of oil in there. All right. If you see right here, there's some tears here, but it's not all the way through. But I just wonder if that's enough to weaken it enough to drop the engine down. Alright, so I'm going to flip it over and try the other side here. Well, I really don't see. Now you can see. You can see here where it's separated. And this is about ready to separate. Now, before I did this, this is already torn. So, now if this is the part that keeps the rubber stable in there, I don't know. See how easy it is to tear it. Okay, let me get rid of this here. Okay, well, what I'm thinking, this is a big chunk here, and it has it's pretty well, I think it's got a metal core to it because it's got the threaded end there for the bolts to bolt it to the frame of the bike. So I think the sides here is the weakest and the part that actually deteriorates. So, seeing that we can spread it, but not actually completely tear it up. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I'm going to spread it a little bit more here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a hacksaw and I'm going to saw this off here. I'm going to check this softer rubber here to see if there's oil soaked into it. Because if I close it, then this part here doesn't expose this anymore, and then I don't want to be cutting this heavy part because this has nothing to do with the mount. The rubber part's giving way. There's these little bit of rubber here on the sides attached to these side plates here. They're actually giving way. Okay, I'm going to try this to see if I can do this with the camera in the way. See, my jaws doesn't have the smooth jaws because this is actually a, I don't know, it's not going to hold it. I gotta make a memo to get new jaws for this so I can grab on this stuff without having it move around. Okay, can you see that? Yeah. Alright, no, it's not gonna hold it. Yeah, see if I do it this way, I'm squeezing it in. I don't want that. I'm having a hard time here, guys. Okay, this seems to work. Feels real, like a mushy feeling to it. I had a bandsaw. We got this done a long time ago. No, it's not that easy to cut. Yeah, you see it's really oily in there. Okay, as you can see, it's not cutting that well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let go of the video for a while, and I'm going to cut this down. I'll find a way to get this thing to hold so I can cut it. And then I'll come back and show you how it looks and if there's oil soaked into it. Alright, I'll be back. Alright guys, I'm back. All I had to do was just get myself centered in the vise to cut this thing apart, and the camera was in the way. So anyway, why waste your time watching me cut this thing off? Now before I forget, yesterday I gave you the number of the front motor mount, and I just thought before I forget, here's the number for the rear motor mount, in case you guys are interested in ordering it, so you can change your motor mounts when they are no more use to your bike. That's all I can say about that. Okay, so there's the number. Alright, now back to the used one, the broken one. Alright, so I cut it apart. So here's the one side. Okay, so I cut it apart. Now, this is the side here. This is the side, the right side. And no oil filter. This is the non-oil filter side. Actually, where the filter unwinds and goes into the engine. So this is the outside of the oil filter. If you see here, look at that. It's all nice and dry. Alright. Everything's okay here. Just the way it was made at the factory. And I'm not familiar with this, but I think what they do is vulcanize this to the metal. And that's what keeps it adhered to it. Now, this is the filter side. Now, this is the part that goes to the frame in the front, and they have a metal core inside. You can see the metal. If you look very carefully here, this is where the oil comes out of. When you pull the filter off, the oil drips out, and look at, see how it ate it all away? And actually, when I took this apart, took this off, this is all wet inside here. So it must have soaked in there and just deteriorated. So whether it like a sponge instead of just soaking this way or down, because what happened with this, which I showed you yesterday, this separated here. And then you saw the new one was down, this part was down here. It had like a 1/16 of an inch space here. And now, look how far away. So what happens, the oil must just eat the rubber up and weaken it. So, what I think has to be done, alright guys, is that there should be a cover, oil-proof, waterproof cover that you can put on top of here. So that way when you pull the filter off, okay, there's no way that oil can drip into here. Alright? Also, if it can come down across here to keep the front, you know, all the dirt off the road grime and crap getting in here, keep that covered too, so the element can't get, you know, it's not out there in the elements. I think that would help save the rubber from deteriorating. But I don't know if that would be cost effective. It's probably just better to get a new one. But some aftermarket outfit could probably make something you could slap on there, because all you have to do is put the cover on here, have holes in the cover, and then just use these same bolts, because the bolts are long enough where you can have, doesn't have to be very thick, gauge metal or plastic to fit on here. But I think that's the only thing that can save these from going out so soon. I don't think 7,500 miles this thing should have ended up like this. Yeah, can you see that again? I don't know if you can see that better now than I had before, but I see it better because I'm looking at the camera lens right now. So, alright guys, I just thought you guys would like to know what one of these things look like apart, and to see exactly why this happened, and I think we found out. I think it was the oil dripping on here. So, alright, till next time.